All right, let's dive right in. We're heading to the front lines of what is probably the most important battle in tech right now. And no, it's not about software or the next social media app. We're talking about the silicon heart of the entire AI revolution, advanced memory. And using some incredible analysis from HDIN Research, we are going to break down the 2025 memory war, a high-stakes conflict that's literally shaping our digital future.
Behind every single AI model that drops, every smart gadget you use, every single leap forward in machine learning, there's this brutal, almost invisible competition going on. It's a war fought with silicon wafers, not soldiers, and it's all for control of the one component that makes the whole AI dream possible: advanced memory.
And this is what's at stake. 48%. According to Gartner data, that's the projected growth of the DRAM market in 2025. In 1 year, the amount of money involved is just colossal. It turns a tech race into a global economic showdown. I mean, think about that. A market growing by almost half its entire value in just 12 months.
So where's the main fight? It's right here, on a battleground called high bandwidth memory, or HBM. Now, this isn't the RAM in your laptop. Nope, this stuff is a completely different beast. It's a specialized 3D stacked memory that's built to feed the absolutely bottomless appetite of AI chips for data. It's the lifeblood of modern AI hardware, plain and simple.
So how on earth do they build this stuff? Well, think of it like a data superhighway. First, you start with a base logic die. That's kind of like the foundation of the road. Then, you stack multiple layers of DRAM right on top of each other, creating all these different levels of the highway. And finally, and this is the really cool part, they connect all those layers with thousands of tiny little channels called TSVs. Those are your on-ramps and off-ramps. What you get is a memory system with way more lanes, that's your bandwidth, and faster access, that's your low latency, than anything else out there.
And that brings us to the main event. We're talking about three absolute giants of the industry, all locked in this incredibly fierce battle to build the best, the fastest, and the most efficient HBM on the entire planet.
Okay, this table really lays out the whole battlefield for us. You've got SK hynix. They're kind of the king of the hill right now, already lining up their mass production for HBM4 in September 2025. Then there's Micron, the aggressive challenger, pushing a totally new manufacturing process. And then you have Samsung, a titan for sure, but feeling the pressure, and they're betting on a completely different technology called TCNCF to try and reclaim their spot. And look, these aren't just small tweaks, these are fundamentally different bets on how to build the future of memory. Whoever gets it right is going to have a massive advantage for years.
So here's the thing you have to understand. In the HBM world, tiny engineering advantages have huge consequences. SK hynix's lead isn't just about raw speed, it's about how they make it. Their unique advanced MR-MUF process lets them handle heat, which is the #1 enemy of performance, 10% better than older methods. That means they can make more working chips, and those chips are more reliable. That is a huge competitive edge.
And you can see the impact of that edge right here. I mean, Samsung is still an absolute powerhouse in the overall memory market, no question. But look at their slice of the pie. It's shrinking. And this really reflects what the analysts are saying. They've had a bit of a lag in getting their top-tier HBM out there compared to the competition. The market is clearly rewarding who's on top of the AI memory game.
But this war, it's not just about these three Goliaths beating each other up. There's also a David in this story, a super specialized player named Everspin that isn't even trying to fight the giants on their own turf. Nope, they're playing a completely different game.
All right, to really get what Everspin is doing, we got to talk tech for just a second. The big guys make DRAM, which is volatile memory. The best way to think about it is like a digital whiteboard. As long as it's plugged in, your data's there. But the second you pull the plug, poof, it's gone. Everspin, on the other hand, makes MRAM. That's persistent memory. It uses magnets to store data, so it's way more like an old-school Etch-a-Sketch. The picture stays put, even with no power.
And that one difference, it changes everything. This quote from the research really nails why MRAM is just irreplaceable in some fields. Because it's using magnetism, it's not bothered by the kind of radiation you find in space that can just flip the bits in normal memory. So if you're building a satellite, a fighter jet, or a critical robot on a factory floor, that immunity isn't just a nice feature, it's an absolute necessity.
And this is where that tech matters. Look, Everspin isn't trying to get into your laptop. They own these niche, mission-critical markets where losing data is just not an option. We're talking aerospace, medical, industrial IoT. They're solving a totally different class of problem where rock-solid reliability is way more important than just having the most storage.
Now, we can learn a ton from the tech, for sure, but if you really want to understand a company's strategy and its odds of long-term survival, you gotta follow the money. The financials, they're like a strategic X-ray.
257%. That's not a typo. That is the revenue growth for Micron's cloud business unit in 2025. It's just an absolute explosion, and it's driven by pretty much one thing: selling HBM to data centers. It just goes to show how hard they've pivoted to meet that AI demand and, wow, how much it's paid off.
And how about this one? 44.2%. That is SK hynix net profit margin. I mean, that is an incredible number for any company that actually makes physical things. It's the financial proof of their technical lead. They're commanding a massive premium because right now, they're the ones on top of the HBM market.
And then you see this number, 85. Just 85. That's how many people work at Everspin, according to their last filing. The contrast is just wild, right? It perfectly shows you their whole game plan. A tiny, lean team of absolute experts, laser-focused on a profitable niche, going up against these giants with tens of thousands of employees.
Now, check this out. This chart shows us the percentage of revenue each company is plowing right back into R&D. And you can see Micron is investing a way bigger percentage than SK hynix. That's a huge tell. It's a clear signal of their strategy. They're not just playing catch-up. They are spending big because they want to leapfrog the competition in the next round.
So we've got a really clear picture of 2025, right? It's a market all about intense competition and not enough of the really good memory to go around. But the HDIN Research analysis ends on a really critical warning about what's coming next.
And this is the million-dollar question for 2026. Or, I guess, the billion-dollar question. All these incredible profits we're seeing, they're happening because demand is crushing supply. But all three of these giants are spending billions and billions of dollars on huge new factories to make more HBM. So, what happens when all that new production comes online at the same time?
And there it is, the analyst's final word of caution. The semiconductor industry has always been a boom and bust cycle. A period of scarcity and insane prices is often followed by a period of oversupply and falling prices. So the true winners of the 2025 memory war won't just be the companies with the best tech today, they'll be the ones who can navigate the wild ride that might be just around the corner.
This analysis was provided by HDIN Research. You can visit www.hdinresearch.com to check out the full report.